Today, I'm going to be breaking down the top tips and tricks that will instantly level up your building skills, from choosing the right materials and adding depth to creating roofs that don't look like stair pyramids. And here's the best part. If you stick around till the end, I'll be putting all of the tips together in one build, so you can just see how it transforms the entire house. Alright, but before we get there, we're going to start simple. So what the professionals do basically to start off, you want to build the foundation of your house. So you can use wood logs to build the foundations, or you can use wall or concrete to make the boxes. You can use simple shapes like squares or cylinders, just whatever is very simple, because you don't want complicated shapes. And once you have your outline, you can build the height you want. You can have different elevations. Let's say this can be a max of however tall that is. This can be even taller if you want. So planning it all out just helps a bunch. Next, you need to think of your theme. So obviously these aren't done houses, but this is more of a Viking medieval style house. So for that, I know I'm going to want a lot of deep slate and spruce. That's like the main blocks. Here is more like a temple Japanese theme build. So I'm using like a blue, what's it called, prismarine roof. There's also like a small outline here just to indicate everything. You can also choose how textured you want your walls. You can see here there's like more detail because of the polished diorite. Also, this side has a window. You can use different types of blocks. Trapdoors are probably one of the best because you can add so much detail. Also, using signs and buttons are really nice. You can just use signs, buttons, or both. And rather than having this entrance, you can add details like having this cobblestone wall. That's what it's called, yeah. All these small things are things you can do to make the build look a bit better. But it's really important to know your theme and location. Next up, we have the floor. So you don't want a boring floor like just grass or a bunch of wool like this. It's simple. It's too simple. So here I have upside down barrels because, let me show you. If you place it like this, you get a slightly different texture than here, and you can make a checkerboard pattern kind of like this. So you can use that on your house's floor. Another thing you can do is use stripped logs. You can just rotate the direction you want it. So if I place it like this, it's facing towards me. This way it's also facing towards me. But you see, you can keep going like this. And then you have this sort of pattern. So this goes with all of the strip logs. Another thing is beehives. Not only are they good for the base, because they have the drawer thing, you can build windows off them, but it's also the top texture of them. Since oak planks, no matter how you place it, always has the same direction, these rotate depending on what you're looking at. So you can make some very interesting floors with just this, or combining it with oak. Then we have gradients. Maybe if you have a really tall house or you're building castles, this is really useful. Instead of having just plain walls, I went from stone to gray wool to birch to pale oak wood. If you are wondering, I'm on 1.21.5. But you can see here, just slowly go from gray to white. You can change from different colors too. Because, let me see, there's so many blocks to make a gradient from. It can be anything. Here, showing, if you don't want just the flat wall though, you need to add detail. You can add windows, or you can also add some more depth. You don't even need the stair, you can use slabs too, but let me put that back. This just adds more of an outline to the entire wall, and if you want, you can also make this part a gradient into if this is a castle wall, you can just something like here. Very simple but effective. This is the same thing with depth. If you have a flat wall like this, it's kind of hard to add detail, it doesn't look the best. But if you move in from your pillars, one block in, you can add, it makes it look, I don't know what to say, it just looks a lot better. Also for doors, you can place it normally like this, also very flat, but if you turn around, it goes inwards. You can add signs, windows, but yeah. Next up, this is really important. You need to add small details around your house to make it look more interesting. So if it's a scarecrow, You can probably make this in like a minute, or just add a small wheat farm if you're making like a windmill. Adding like piles of this, hay, pumpkins, or barrels for storage, whatever it is, it just adds to the environment. Speaking of the environment, you can use bone meal, custom made trees, or just like hedges all around. I'm not the best at trees, but you can experiment. I do suggest using mud walls as a base with any sort of logs. Then we have water features. Water is going to add more life into the build. You can make them small ponds, rivers, or even waterfalls like this. If you do have bigger ponds, you can like use stairs to like slowly bring it somewhere if you want. Make sure to also use different types, because if it's all just stone brick, it won't look good. Mossy helps. We also have dripstone leaves. You can also use coral if you want, sea pickles, lily pads, all of that works. And now we have light. You obviously need to be very good with, you need to be careful with how you place these, because it's important. So for your path leading up to your house, having lampposts, there's so many different designs, but this is just one very simple one. It just adds light at nighttime, so what is light to civilization, you know? Froggate's also pretty good. If you're ever like in a lush cave or like a cave base, making crystals with these inside glass works really well. Campfire is also probably one of my favorite, because not only are they good for some roofs, but also they have particles which can be used for cooking. So if I get it's called a furnace or smoker or food, if you make the ground level like this, it just looks cool because you have the smoke coming out. Then you have mushroom lights, more of a nether block, but it still works. I don't know where I was going there. Then we have candles. So not only can you place 1, 2, 3, or 4, but there's different colors. If you see right here, there's like the whole rainbow, so go have fun with that. Then there's chandeliers. If you don't want to just like spam torches around, you can use these instead. If you have a tall room, just place a couple of chain to your desired height, then I don't know, it's just logs. It's just chain, fence, and candles. Also, don't forget to light them though with your flint steel.
Flint and steel!
But now that we've gone through every single tip, we can go to the very end, which is a pretty unique house. So you can see I used a lot of bone meal. We added moss carpet and ferns for even more detail, lots of flowers. On the topic of environment, I didn't want to make custom trees, but adding small leaves around the whole house gives it a more nature vibe, kind of run down. Also for the path, you can mix in gravel or coarse dirt, just because too much grass isn't good. You got a little water feature with sugarcane growing. Also to make sure it stops growing, you can just put string on top. Very simple. We also got piles of barrels just for storage and for looks. You can add a campfire if you want. Also, we have different types of windows. We don't want too many similar types. So here we have a single window, just one glass. Here though we have two with a stair on top. Here we have two but with a trapdoor and fence. Here we just have fence. You can see how you don't want too many different types, but having a couple definitely helps. You also want to think of your roofs. Here, instead of just leaving a flat wall, I decided to go in a bit. I didn't make the window, but all I did was just build a staircase up and back down to add more detail. If you have like an attic, you can just add glass. Here you can see also I'm using lanterns. I'm honestly just not a fan of candles, but it works. Interior is empty, but I don't know why that's it. You also want to think of the theme, remember? So I have giant windows here, just so it's like a lookout. Maybe you can have like an enchantment table here, or storage. Also empty up here, but you see how the chandelier works pretty well, knowing the theme. It's very medieval. And you can just imagine, if I had custom trees all around this, it'd look really nice. And this house is something I made pretty quickly, like maybe 20-30 minutes. So if you spend a bit more time just planning everything, realizing what blocks work well together or not, you'll be very successful. Also, I'm not using shaders to give it a more realistic look, because shaders make builds look way better when they shouldn't. So yeah.